Okay, hey, so sorry that I not done this video yet. I know I said I was gonna do it days ago. Not that I think that anybody cares except for Amber. Amber's been like Snapchatting me on the daily. Where's the video? Where's the video? So here you go, Amber. Um, but I'm gonna kind of like in the beginning talk about what I said I was gonna talk about, like talk about my experience with competing and kind of like the tell all of some stuff that I kind of didn't really tell people. And then I'm going to kind of talk about like what I'm doing now. So, and then in the description, my plan, since I tend to ramble and be super obnoxious, I'll like put what time in the video I talk about certain things so that if you don't want to hear me ramble about the stupid stuff, you can just like skip to if there's anything you actually care about. Okay, anyway. So first of all, the reason that I'm like okay sharing on YouTube and stuff and not like I didn't really put any of it on Instagram and don't really plan to is because I feel like if you're the type of person that is like clicking on a YouTube link and like spending the time to actually watch it, like you're actually like you actually care about me and like you're not just looking at my Instagram to judge and stuff. And not that I'm saying that people would do that, but I mean, it's a lot. I don't know. It's just I feel like this is less of an audience and I just feel more comfortable. So, um, I'm just gonna get into it. So a little like timeline, I guess. I don't need to go into it like super in detail, but senior year of high school, I was anorexic. Got really bad. Sorry, things keep popping up on my computer screen. Got down to like 100 pounds. No, 110 pounds. Just kidding. Oh my gosh, I hate everything on my computer right now. Okay, sorry, everything's good now. Okay, so I was anorexic senior year of high school, and then I started to recover. And when I started recovering, I didn't really have any like. Are you freaking kidding me? I hate iCloud. Okay, sorry. Um, I didn't really have anybody like guiding me. I just kind of had everybody that cared about me telling me to eat more food, which I is normal and it's what you'd expect. Like people cared about me. They wanted to see me at a healthier weight. So I kind of started to associate food with like people caring about me. So then when I went away to college, food kind of became like whenever I was sad, I would kind of like eat food just because like subconsciously my mind associated food with like not being lonely, I guess. So I don't know. Long story short, I ended up gaining a lot of weight. And like January of my freshman year of college, I was like 190 pounds, and I was like, ugh. And then went through a breakup and was kind of like all revenge body, blah blah. So basically, since my senior year of high school, I haven't really had a healthy relationship with food. So I started dieting again. Then at my summer camp, I wouldn't say that I had like an eating disorder or anything like that, but like I was still very self conscious about my body, and I was a very all or nothing person. I'd either like eat everything in sight or be like, oh, I'm eating healthy this meal, and it was just kind of a mess. So then when I started back at Davis for my sophomore year this year, I decided to get a coach, a macros coach, because I had seen all over online like flexible dieting and how counting macros can allow you to like live a balanced lifestyle and have it be more of a lifestyle, not a crazy diet. So I got a macros coach, and in the back of my mind, I knew that I wanted to compete with it, but initially it was just to kind of like get me in a good space. Where I was like maintaining, leaning out, adding some muscle, blah, blah, blah. So things were going really, really well. I worked with macros coach from about September to January in like the lean bulk phase. And I think that that is the healthiest mindset in terms of food that I've ever really had. I was still very, very, very OCD about like my macros having to be perfect and like but I mean, I was willing to roll with the punches. Like I remember a couple times if my mom had said that we were going to go somewhere for dinner, but then the plans would change. Normally I'd freak out because I would have been counting on like certain macros for a meal. But I was in a better place about it, and I would just kind of like accommodate, and I was willing to have my macros not be like 100% perfect all the time. So that was probably like the best, and I was working out every single day, but I was eating a lot, like I wasn't actively losing weight. We got up to me eating like 2,700 calories, like 390 grams of carbs, like just all sorts. It was really, really great. So I'd say that that was like the healthiest relationship I've ever had with food, but I was still constantly thinking about it and like constantly thinking about my body. So then I thought that because I liked how I looked, that I would be ready to prep, because prepping, I'm only going to get leaner. So I was thinking, okay, if I'm sitting at 150 pounds and I feel fine, like if I drop 20 pounds, I'm only going to feel better. So like I'm totally ready to prep. Like this will be great. I was not ready. This is the first time I'm admitting that, and I don't really I don't regret competing at all, but honestly, I wasn't ready. I really, really wasn't. When you start to prep, it becomes less and less about like if you're content with your body, and more of like you start comparing to other people, and you're not expecting your body to look good for lifestyle, just for going to the beach, for just liking your body. You start to expect you want to look good on stage, which is just like an extreme leanness. So started prep and things started to go really, really well. But then starting around, I want to say like 8 weeks out, I started to do the thing that they tell you not to do, but I would look on Instagram and see other people who are like, I had the hashtag like 9 weeks out or 8 weeks out or something like that, and I'd start comparing myself. And some people were leaner than me, and some people weren't. Or also, some people would have their macros posted, and I'd be like, what the heck? Like, why am I still eating all these macros? And it was at that point that I stopped listening to my macros coach, and I did not tell anybody. I didn't tell him. I didn't tell Amber, and I basically told Amber everything. But there would be some days where I'd like literally be like, I'm not doing this intensely enough. I need to only eat 600 calories, and we're talking at 8 weeks out. Like, you cannot do that at 8 weeks out. Just bad. And I would like lie to him about eating more than I actually was, and I was so at that point like I was basically prepping myself. Not good. And in doing that, like eventually I'd just give up, because like I had 8 weeks left and I was starving and all this stuff, and I'm a very all or nothing person. So 3 times during prep, I just completely ate everything in sight. Like it always would happen where I'd wake up starving, because I wouldn't have eaten any. Like I would have eaten 600 calories the past like 3 days, and finally you just wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. And I'm just such a perfectionist and a black and white person, unfortunately. It's something I'm really working on. But I would like stray from my macros and then be like, well, the whole day is ruined, and I would literally eat everything in sight. Like, I kid you not, at least 10,000 calories. Like, it's not an exaggeration. If I thought that people cared enough to have me list out like some of the things that I'd eaten in a day, I would. But like, it was really, really bad. And then the next day I'd go back to it, and it was just a bad place, and I'd feel crappy about myself and all that. But with that, I do want to add in, fun fact, a lot of times it kind of went in like a cycle. So I started the crazy, crazy calorie deficiency, and then I'd have like a binge day, and the next day I'd kind of be like, okay, obviously the 600 calorie thing isn't working, like, let's do something a little bit more reasonable. I'd do that, and then I'd feel like I wasn't lean enough, so then I'd drop down to the crazy low calories again, and then I'd have a binge, and then I'd be like, okay, reevaluate. So that basically happened in 3 cycles, because I had 3 of those days where I did that. So something I don't really tell anybody, but after I would go back to like a semi-reasonable calorie amount, still a deficit, but like a reasonable one, honest to God, like reasonable. Like, it was still like prep macros, so it was more than like a normal diet, but like 1,500 calories, like, especially like at how many weeks I was at. 4 days later, my weight would be exact same, if not lower, than it was the day that I ate everything. So, and I'm talking like I would order Domino's pizza, and I would like dip it in like garlic butter, and it was just like I ate a lot, like pints of ice cream. Oh my god, I don't even want to. Woo. But so I guess I'm just saying that not to encourage binge eating, because mentally and emotionally, and it is bad for your body, like your hormones and stuff like that. But I'm just saying that to help anybody out, where if you ever do mess up, don't feel like shit. But Yeah, so there's like my little confession of prep. Yeah, and then luckily, towards the very, very end, I did have a coach telling me what to do. But I mean, at that point, the macros were like less than 1,000 calories a day, and that's just kind of what you have to do. So basically, by the time that show day hit, I was exhausted. I mean, I had been putting myself through these just like crazy cycles of deficits. I basically made prep a million times harder than I needed to make it. Just so, so, so much harder. It ended up working out. I mean, I was lean enough. I got judges' feedback, and they said that my conditioning was perfect, actually. Like, because sometimes people are actually too lean. But I just made it so, so, so much harder on myself. So, if you decide to do a bikini competition, get a coach, listen to the coach, do not stray from the coach under any circumstances. Yeah. So, show day happened. I was feeling good about my body. Everything's great. But I have been dieting like crazy for like 3 months. So basically, I just went all out after the show and basically had like a week of where I also ate everything in sight, which is just not healthy. Like, it's just not a healthy relationship with food, and it was entirely caused by prep. And this is not me trying to like bash bikini competing, because a lot of people do a show and then they're like, oh my god, it ruined my life. Like, it didn't, and I'm gonna do it again, and I love it, and I think it's a super positive thing. But like, you have to be ready. Like, I would personally say that you need to have a healthy relationship with your body image and with food for like a year straight, with like no, like, not necessarily like your weight can fluctuate, of course, but like go a year where you feel good about your body and you aren't binging or restricting or doing anything crazy like that, because wow, like, prep puts a toll. You become obsessed. Like, I wish I could show you my camera roll. I ended up deleting them, but all throughout prep, my camera roll was just pictures. Every time I passed a mirror, like, I would like lift up my shirt and make sure my abs were still there. Like, you just become so obsessed, and it, in all honesty, towards the end, like, it's harder than like when you have an eating disorder. It just, I made it a very dark thing. Like, you just have to get a coach that you trust and listen to them. I didn't like tell my roommates that I was doing this. I mean, one time it was like my macros coach had told me to have a refeed day. Um, but I mean, it's not like I was listening to him anyway. So, like, it just was so bad for my self esteem and how I felt. Like, I was hiding in my room, eating everything in sight, feeling like I'd ruined everything, all my hard work. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my posing coach. I didn't tell my workout coach. I didn't tell my friends. I didn't tell anybody. So, yeah, it was really, really bad. And it wasn't fun and all that stuff. And then there was also, oh, I just got paid. There was also the week after the first show I did, the Governor's Cup. I did that show as a warm up, which was a good idea, but the issue is that I was comparing myself, who was technically still 4 weeks out, to all these people who it was their show day. And I dehydrated, like, I water loaded and then cut water for the show, but I didn't do a peak week. I didn't carb deplete and carb load. I didn't do anything. So I was comparing myself to a bunch of people that were like in their top, top, top condition. And then after that show, I just felt like even crappier about myself. I was doing double the amount of cardio that my coach was telling me to. I would go to the gym and do um, fasted sprints, and finally I had to stop because this is another thing that I did not tell anybody. I passed out on the treadmill. There was only one other person in there, and luckily she helped me. I don't think she follows me on Instagram. I don't even know her name, but if that girl happens to see this YouTube video, thank you. But like, because I wasn't eating enough, I was doing all this crazy cardio. So yeah, these are the things that I didn't tell. So I guess I tried to make myself appear all perfect on Instagram, but I was not at all. I feel like I did a really bad job talking about that because I don't do it justice to just like how dark and lonely and like bad it got when I stopped listening to the coach, because it's just kind of awkward and sad to talk about because it like literally gives me the chills. Like it felt like how I felt when I had my eating disorder and I was lonely and I didn't see an end to anything. I didn't see a point to anything. All I cared about was my body. Like I just had no energy. Like I felt dizzy walking up the stairs to my apartment. I was just miserable. So this isn't to like be like, oh, feel sorry for me, but this is just if you prep, first of all, make sure you're ready. Like I should not have done it. I really shouldn't have. And that's why I'm taking. So I know that some people are probably like, oh, you hypocrite. Like, but you're saying you're going to keep competing. A lot of people, a lot of my friends that I made at the competitions and everything are going to do shows in September. Some of them, they even were trying to get me to do a show just 3 weeks after my prep. And I just know that for me mentally, I need to take a full year off before I get back into it. So with that, I want to talk about kind of like what I'm doing right now because I still have my fitness account and all this stuff, but prep like took over my life because I became so disordered and unhealthy about it. So this is the current plan. So as I said, after the show, I was just mentally and physically just exhausted of dieting, so I went a little too hardcore and ate legitimately everything in sight. Still worth it though. My weight has fluctuated since the show like crazy. Like my show weight was 136, not that it matters, but my show weight was 136, and like 4 days after the show, I weighed myself and I was 150. A lot of it was water, like just, and then I kind of started to eat like semi-normal, blah, blah, blah. My weight was like 140 this, blah, blah, blah. So basically, I've weighed myself the past 3 days, and I was I weighed myself the past like 6 days. Because when I was at home, I was 145 exactly both days, and then I was 143 exactly the past 2 days, and then this morning I woke up and I was 141.6, and I've been eating about 2,200 calories. But my coach, Steve Dilk, is reverse dieting me. So for this first week, we don't really know where the heck my metabolism's at because my weight has just been like, and all that. So we're gonna do a complete week of tracking, no free meals, no anything. It's a lot of food. He has me at 240 carb, 140 protein, and 55 fat, which is like exactly 2,000 calories almost. So for this week, I gotta go strict with that. I have to track everything, and then we're just going to monitor my weight throughout the week to see what the heck my metabolism is doing. And then he's going to reverse diet me up to hopefully where I was at when I was doing real good with my macros coach, when I was eating like 2,700 calories, because we got to put on muscle. Because the judges' feedback. The feedback that I got from the judges was mostly really good. They liked my suit, they liked my hair, they liked the cut of my suit, they liked I don't even remember, but basically the things that basically everyone said is that I have a really good frame and I have a lot of potential actually, which made me really excited because that's just like a genetic thing, but that I just don't have enough muscle on me yet to like go super far with it. So we gonna build a crap ton of muscle. And then starting next week, Steve says that I can like have some free meals. We're just going to see where my metabolism is at to depend on how much. I'm now going to work out 5 to 6 days a week, so I'm taking some rest days. Like today, I took a rest day. And that's kind of the plan, is just to kind of like take a year where I'm still fitness and health conscious, but where it isn't taking over my life, because it seriously got really, really bad. I was kind of trying to act like, oh, look at me, I'm on prep, and like act like it was a good experience, but I was basically like worse off than I was when I had an eating disorder, and I don't really have any like friends up at Davis. I mean, I have like 2, so I didn't really have anything to keep me distracted. Like literally all that was on my mind was prep. So with that, it was a really good experience. Some of the good things about it, it taught me a lot about delayed gratification, because there were so many times where I just wanted to be like, screw it, like, I hate this, but it taught me a lot about delayed gratification. taught me a lot about how disciplined I'm willing to be for my goals, which lately I've been feeling kind of crappy about because I was a really, really, really good student in high school, and I'm still a good student in college, but I just don't care as much as I used to about like being the best student. Like I'm willing now to get a B or a C in a class. Like so I've just been kind of like struggling with that. So it definitely taught me, like it reinforced the idea. It reminded me that I am a hard worker. Um, and you meet a lot of people, honestly, that are really, really nice. Like on show day, everyone just wants the best for you, and it's an amazing experience. And I learned a lot, like scientifically, like as somebody who does struggle with eating and fitness and body image, that part was really good for me to see, like just exactly how carbs do fuel your body and how important getting enough of them is, and how you can like lose so much muscle. I lost so much muscle during prep when you deplete them. So there really are a lot of good things, but I'm gonna wrap this up because I'm doing a really shitty job talking about things. But that's just my experience. But I loved prep. I'm going to do it again, but this time I am going to not compare myself to other people because all our bodies do things at different rates. Some people drop weight super duper quickly and then plateau. Other people kind of like, and then all of a sudden drop, which is what happened with me. So there's no point comparing yourself because all that matters is what you look like on show day. It doesn't matter if somebody looks leaner than you at 5 weeks out. Does not matter. I am going to not make prep my whole life. I'm going to try and like have other things going on socially, family-wise, job, friends, school. Like, I'm not gonna let it take over until like the last like month or so. It kind of it's gonna, but like there's more to me than prep, and that is the goal. So, yeah.